Hi guys, it's Ellie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am recommending some amazing romance books that I have read or I am yet to read, but I have heard good things about it or I have liked the plot, so I think that they might be good reads. Now, you guys know Monsoon is the season when I love reading romance books. Even last year, I put out some amazing romance recommendations around the monsoon time and I got great feedback, so I hope that I'll be able to recommend some new books for you to read in the romance genre. But before we get into today's video is sponsored by Kishore Nanda, who is the author of Because It's Love. This is almost a 400-page book, so it's a fat book. And this book explores love at different levels like family, relationship, friendship, romance and canophilia. And that is something I honestly didn't expect. So at the family level, there's this guy called Abhiram who is HIV infected and he adopts some, not so usual people, and then they become a family. So I found that part very, very unusual and I am, very eager to finish reading this book. In the friendship section, there is Karan, who finds an 11-year-old blind boy Aryan who teaches him about love and life, and once again that is very unique. Next, there is romance when there's this author called Arav, and actually the book begins with Arav. Arav is an author who is looking to find a dying patient to promote his book. That's a sick marketing tactic. But obviously there's more to learn from his quest for this dying girl. Lastly, there's Rajesh, who finds a missing dog, and this missing dog teaches him the value of relationships. Honestly, all I need to read about is dogs to know that this might be a really good book. So thanks to the author for sponsoring today's video and bringing this romance book recommendation video to you guys. If you guys found the plot of this book interesting, which I'm sure it is, make sure you grab this book. The link to buy this book is in the description below. The language is pretty easy and I'm sure you're gonna like this book. Do share your feedback if you happen to read this book as well. And once again, thanks to the author for sponsoring today's video. The next book that I'll recommend is Aristotle and Dante, Discover the Secrets of the Universe. This is one of the best feel-good books that I've ever read. Aristotle and Dante is an LGBTQ book, so if you want to explore more reads in the LGBTQ genre, I am sure you're gonna love it. But even if you don't want to, I think you should be reading it. We as readers have had too much of heterosexual relationships, honestly, so I feel it is gonna be a great change to read about LGBTQ relationships. This is about two boys who fall in love and both of them have their share of great things in this book. One book that I'll recommend, which I have not read yet, but I'm sure you've heard about it, it's Call Me By Your Name. I am not watching the movie until I am reading the book, so don't say, hey Ellie, just watch the movie. No, I don't want to watch the movie until I've read the book. So I'm waiting to read it. I found it at the library. I brought it, but then I couldn't finish reading it. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it when I finish reading it. So this month I have it on my TBR. Another similar recommendation will be something that I've recommended quite a few times, and that is Cobalt Blue. I love that book. It's about a brother and a sister loving the same man. It's a great book, but I've recommended it so many times already, I'm not going to speak much about it in today's video. Next book that I'll recommend in romance is Our Souls at Night by Kent Haruf. I loved this book. I've made a review of this book already, so please check it out if you want to. This book, it left me smitten. It was so good. There are a few books which touch your heart and make you a better person and make you feel like the world is not so bad a place after all. This is one such book and I highly recommend it to anyone who wants to read a good book. The next book recommendation is Boat Trek by Rabindranath Tagore. I think I recommended it last time as well, but honestly, if you have not read it already, please do. This book is called Noka Dubi in Bengali, so if you read Bengali, you can read it in Bengali, but otherwise you can get the English translation, which is called The Boat Trek, which is basically about a boat trek which wrecks the life of 4 people in the craziest manner possible. Honestly, I loved the crisscross relationship, the way it was portrayed, and honestly, I loved the way the relationships were handled, especially the one between Ramesh and Kamla. It was unfathomable. Also, I loved Hemnolini and Ramesh's romance, and I'd love to know what you thought about the ending of this book. I personally feel that, and spoiler ahead, you can skip ahead, I personally feel that Hemnolini and Ramesh do unite, and I also feel that Kamla and Ramesh, whatever they had, it was being friends, like being best friends. The way they cared for each other, it was not romantic in any way, it was just pure golden friendship. I don't think the concept of friendship between a woman and a man would have gone down very well at the time when Rabindranath Tagore wrote it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Ramesh always loved Nolini, and Kamla never loved Ramesh. She was sort of smitten by Ramesh. She had a crush on him, I'll say, but it was definitely not love. And that is the beauty of that book, the way the relationships were handled without, messing them up. By the way, guys, the boat trick is available as an audiobook on Storytel. So if you don't want to buy the paperback, you can try Storytel out for free. Honestly, the paperback cost around $2.99 and Storytel subscription per month cost around $2.99. So you can read much more books at the same price. Also, the first 30 days will be free if you go to Storytel and use my trial code storytel.com/Ellie, and you can read up to 1 lakh books for free if you have a Storytel subscription. So that's a great deal, right? So yeah, make sure you check it out. The link to get a free trial to Storytel will be in the description below. So do let me know if you give it a try. The next book that I'll recommend is Gabriel Garcia Marquez's Love in the Time of Cholera. This was one of the books that I'd read as a young girl when I didn't even understand the language, and I can never forget the first line of this book. The scent of bitter almonds always reminded me of the fate of unrequited love. This is one of the best starting lines in the history of English literature, and it is mind-blowing. I loved the first line, and it sort of sets the mood for the whole book. If you want to experience love in an unadulterated form, in a, ornate language, you have to read Gabriel Garcia Marquez. But definitely, unlike all the other books that I've recommended so far, this book is difficult in the language, so I won't recommend it for beginners or even medium level readers. I'll only recommend it for people who want to advance their reading level or are already advanced readers. The next book that I'll recommend is Latitudes of Longing by Shubhangi Swaroop. This is gold. Although the concept of romance is a secondary theme in this book, I still felt that this book captures the essence of love and romance in the couple, which begins the book very, very well. Very well. And I won't give you many spoilers, but once again, this book is also a bit difficult to read. Not as difficult as Gabriel Garcia Marquez, definitely, but then not as easy as maybe Ken Tarouf's Souls at Night. Next recommendation will be Usha Narayan's Priam Purana. This is basically a collection of mythological love stories. So if you like mythology and you've read a lot of mythology like Sita, Ram, Kalki, Narsimha, etc., you will like this book. But this book is basically just romance. I liked this book. This made me feel really good. Also, guys, look at the cover. This is one of the best covers that I've ever seen. Usha Narayanan is an underrated mythology writer. I have not heard a lot of people speak about her, but she's a good author. I like what she writes, and this is definitely one of my favorites from her. Next romance book that I'll recommend is Ajay K. Pandey's You Are the Best Wife. It is by far his best book. He has written other books, but I personally didn't like them much to finish the other one. But You're the Best Wife is definitely one of the best romance books that I've ever read. It is definitely not the typical sex romance that we read nowadays in pop fiction authors, but it's true love that has been depicted in the book in the simplest language of a simple writer, which is the reason why it resonated with so many people. He has written more books, but once again, I didn't like any of them as much as I liked You Are the Best Wife. So I'd highly suggest you guys to read You're the Best Wife if you haven't already. The next book that I'll recommend is also once again a book that I often recommend, and it's Murakami's Men Without Women. It captures the relationship of men and women and how men are completed by women and how the absence of women affects men's lives very beautifully. It is one of the best books that I've ever read. I know this book can get a bit costly, and as far as I know, Storytel does have an audiobook, but I love the hardback. Like, this is one of my favorite hardbacks ever. So if you can grab this hardback if you want to, just treat yourself. I love the stories, but my favorite of this of the 7 stories in this one is Sherazade. You can also read Can Love Happen Twice by Ravinder Singh. A lot of people say that I Too Had a Love Story is a better book than Can Love Happen Twice, but I like Can Love Happen Twice more. Now the reason might be that I read it when I was a teen and I was like in my first relationship, and obviously that sort of connects with you when you are in a relationship for the first time and you're reading about love. But and maybe I won't like that book if I read it now, but at that point of time I really enjoyed that book. That book was good and I like that book. I read I Too Had a Love Story 2 years later when I was much more polished as a reader, and I didn't like I Too Had a Love Story. So it might be that I wouldn't have liked Can Love Happen Twice if I had read it at that point of time as well. But even then I would suggest you guys to read Can Love Happen Twice. I liked it much more than I Too Had a Love Story. So yeah guys, that will be all for today's video. I will be making a part 2 of this video if you want more romance recommendations next week. So let me know in the comment section as soon as possible so that I can bring you to the video as soon as possible. I hope that you will pick some of the books that I have recommended in today's video. Make sure you show some support to the sponsor of today's video, Kishore Nanda. The links to all the books are in the description below. Make sure you check them out. If you want to check out Storytel and want some free audiobooks, make sure you check out the free trial of Storytel as well. I hope that you will let me know which books you are trying after my recommendations, because I love to know what books you are reading. If you want to recommend me some romance reads, let me know in the comment section as well. I'll be back with another video next week. Till my next video, bye bye.